All right, we're back for another session of the IceBlink Mini engine. This is the Elderin Stone, and just loaded up my save game. I made a couple of bug fixes. One of the things was the rations were not decrementing after 24 hours like they're supposed to, and that was because the save game was not saving the difference in time since the last ration was consumed. So I fixed the save game for that, and then also the spawning creatures and encounters were not doing their actions on their turn because they weren't actually included in the total number of creatures that were there. So I have to, when I add a creature to the screen, I needed to increase the total count of the creatures there. So that's working now. A couple other things I did. Let's go in. I added a so you have the option here of either saying traits or spells up here in the top for a class. And so I set for the thief and the fighter class it says traits. And so they're spells, but it just calls them this. But so the thief has a trait for remove trap. And this is used for removing traps in combat. So on a combat mat, if you place a trap, you create a prop and you identify that prop as a trap, you can give it a spell that will trigger on the trap. So you could have like a fireball or something trigger when you step on that trap. But so this right here has a feature where a thief can go and try to remove that trap. Later, I'd like to add the capability of not just removing it, but maybe retrieving the trap, and then you can actually place traps. A thief could place traps, so you can recover a trap as well as just disable it. Two different tries. So, okay, that's one. The other thing is I added a couple of spells. I did a sort, so now all the first level spells should show up first, and then the higher level spells at the very end. Like this one's available at level 7. So it's at the very end. I still need to get an image for that. But I added a dimension door, and this spell, basically you can click anywhere on the map and jump to that space. I added a lightning bolt spell, and then also a stinking cloud. And the way the stinking cloud works is it'll actually place over a 9 square radius, it'll stick these clouds there that will stay for, I think it's like 3 or 4 rounds. And any creatures that walk into the cloud are going to receive damage if they stay there. Later, I think I want to add the possibility that the creature could be held as well for maybe 1 round. So it'd have both a damage and a debuff to that. And then every round you would do a check to see if you're held, so you can try to get out of it. Kind of like you're coughing and you're immobilized or held. So anyway, okay, so back to it. And here we are. Just kind of walk around. Okay, there are heavy vines growing up the wooden fence. You could probably use them to scale the fence if you wish. Leave the fence alone. Let's leave it alone for now. So let's try it here. Okay. You enter a large hut. Facing you is a tall, lithe man wearing a blue robe. At the back of the hut, you see the king's archaeologist. Garen Winvale, stretched out on a bloody mattress and clutching a deep wound in his side. He is covered in sweat and shaking feverishly. Ah, says the man in the blue robe nervously. Visitors. I heard you carving your way through the camp. Very impressive. I didn't expect you to get this far, in all honesty. Although we're a bit short on numbers since Kirkmore set off to find that bloody temple. I don't suppose you left any of them alive, did you? He sees the look on your face and sighs. Ah, no, I suppose not. Who are you? My name is Lenil. He gives you a short bow. I'm a man of no importance. Really, I do a bit of running for Kirkmore here and there, as he asks. I don't have any grand plans or ambitions except to survive the day. He licks his lips. Now that is an ambition worth having. You work for Kirkmore? Oh, yes. Awful man, really. I never took to him. He's very good at bullying the men, though. You know, keeping them in line and all that. He's been spending most of his time in Blackwinter recently with some new gang. I wasn't all that pleased to see him back, to be honest with you. Where is he? He's on an expedition, something about a lost temple, but I didn't ask too many questions. We have a pet wizard called Axon who might have more information. He's in the camp still somewhere, although I guess that means you've probably killed him by now. Leno licks his lips nervously. Yes, well, can't say I blame you, of course. Believe me, whatever Kirkmore is up to, he's better left to it. I wouldn't go intentionally looking to put myself in his way. I've come for Garen Winville. Step aside. Ah, yes, of course. I'm not going to stand in your way, but I'm afraid it isn't looking too good for him. Leno looks a little pained. Not my doing, you understand. The fellows were a bit rough capturing him. He got stabbed. I don't think he has too long left. Stand aside now. Of course. Leno licks his lips. Look, would you mind awfully if I just slipped out and left you to it? I don't really have any great intention of dying here if I can help it, and I can't really offer you any help or anything. I'd just like to get out of here and go home. Sure, we'll let him go. Very well. Leno's face floods with relief. Well, that really is very big of you. Can't thank you enough. Good luck and all that, and sorry about your man Winville. Really wasn't anything to do with me, I swear. He darts out of the door. You hear his footsteps vanishing into the distance. Speak to Winville. You crouch down next to Winville. He is clearly in a lot of pain, bleeding profusely and covered in sweat. Flies are starting to settle on him. You brush them aside, and they rise in the air like a small black cloud. His eyes bulge when he sees you. You're not with Kirkmore. No, Cyril Doran sent me. Winville grabs your wrist suddenly, pulling you closer. He has surprising strength. I didn't tell him. Tell Dorian. I didn't tell him. You didn't tell him what? Winville collapses back onto the floor. His eyes see straight past you. There is a secret word to pass through the main temple doors, he whispers. Seventis. You need to say Seventis. Does Kirkmore know? I didn't tell him. Winville grins. He stuck his knife in me, but I didn't tell him. As much as he hurt me, I didn't tell. I didn't tell Lionel anything. His eyes close and his breathing slows. There's nothing more you can do here. Leave him. As you turn to leave, Winville's eyes suddenly bulge open again, and he grabs your wrist urgently. The Vandrid, he whispers hoarsely. The Elderin didn't know. Don't believe its lies. The Vandrid? What's a Vandrid? It is too late. Winville has slumped down back onto the floor, and his breathing has stilled. His pain now over. Whatever he intended to tell you will remain a mystery. Okay, so a couple things we learned there. And here he is. Winville's lifeless body lies still. There's nothing you can do here. Alright, so we got healing potion, spell points potion, and another ration. Probably gonna lose that ration yet. Discarding excess rations too heavy. Alright. Let's see. Do I need to rest? Nope, I'm looking pretty good still. Let's see if there's anything around here. Okay, so at this point, let's check our journal. The Elderin stone. Let's see, do I have just one? Retrieving the stone. We have been tasked with recovering an Elderin stone from an ancient temple in the Myrtle Forest. Apparently the stone has powers that could heal the king, although there is considerable skepticism amongst the king's advisors that Elderin stones actually exist. The archaeologist. Okay, Garin Wingvale. He must rescue the king's archaeologist, Garin, from a group of bandits in the forest. He has important information about the Elderin temple. We may deal with the bandits as we like. Okay, and then the temple password. Garin Winville did not survive his capture by the bandits. Before he died, he gave us the password to the Elderin temple, Seventis. He also mentioned something about a Vandrid, but he was largely incoherent about it. So I remember he said don't trust him, or it, whatever it is. Stone man, statue or man. We found a surprisingly lifelike statue in the Myrtle Forest. We suspect it was once a man. Perhaps there is a way to reverse whatever spell has been cast upon it. So I did find that scroll. That's probably... I noticed Myrtle here has 2 L's. The other places seem like it had 1. Okay. So let's do that. It's right here. There we go. Okay. Standing in this clearing is a surprisingly lifelike statue of a man carrying a halberd. There is moss growing on the statue, and it looks quite weather-worn. It's clearly been here sometime. Use the stone to flesh scroll. Yes. Read the stone to flesh scroll. As each spidery word is aired, it crumbles from the page like ash until the page is entirely blank. There is a blast of light, and the statue glows momentarily. Suddenly, the statue before you comes to life, swinging its halberd through thin air with a roar, before unbalancing and collapsing into a heap. After a moment's silence, the man says, "What the hell? You'd been turned into a statue, or you might want to rest for a moment, I guess." A statue? The man's jaw drops. A bloody statue. Was that bloody lizard a basilisk? I knew it. told you it was a bloody basilisk. He groans. I don't suppose there was another statue around here, was there? A big, dopey-looking bloke with a hammer? Not that I've seen, just you. Well, that's something, I guess. I always quite liked the big lug, even if he was a bit slow. He must have got away. The man lurches to his feet and extends his hand. I'm Elderin of River Ebb. Thank you for rescuing me. Let's see, I'm Caspian. Yeah, great. Okay. I'm Caspian. Pleased to meet you, Elderin. Elderin pauses for a moment. I probably don't really want to know, but what year is it? So I can say it's the year 341 or the year 321. I'll go with true. Elderin pales. 341, but then I've been here for, well, over 20 years. He sits down slowly. Marwyn, I didn't get back for her. I'm sorry, do you think you will be okay from here? I don't really know. I think so. I need to get home. Whatever is left of it. 20 bloody years, by the gods. Elderin looks a little unsteady on his feet. You have my thanks, Caspian. I don't have much to give you in return, but take this key. An old elf sold it to me and Jeffrey and told us it opened a door somewhere deep in this forest. In an old temple, he said. I'm never going to use it now. Thanks and good luck. I want that halberd as well. Should I take the halberd? No, I'll let him keep it. Thanks and good luck. Alright, so he's gone. So let's see. There's somewhere. Should I rest? Or, yeah, I'm gonna go rest just to get some spell points back. So there's that campsite. And let's see, recording wise, we're 17, we're almost up to 20-minute mark. So let's come to the camp and rest at the camp. Party lays down their weapons for a well-earned rest. Okay. So my rations just dropped to 6. And everybody is full hit points and full spell points. All right. So let's go ahead and do a save game here. And let's head on up. So I think looking at our map here, it looks like we've done everything over inside the camp. Let's walk the ground here. These must be the boats the bandits use to launch their attacks. All right. Looks like some dead ends. Looks like we're along the side of the river here. Oh, there's that. Vines have been allowed to grow up the wall to the west. Okay, so that was the place where we could have climbed up. Some more dead ends. Okay, we got a road here. Ration consumed. Yep, just used one of our rations here. I think somewhere I left one in a container, but we'll see. Got something down here. A small number of torn pages from some kind of book are blowing across the path. You pick them up. Judging by the dated entries, They appear to be torn out of a journal belonging to a man called Dalamar. You glance through the journal entries curiously. The pages are torn and soaked with largely unreadable, but you catch the occasional sentence here and there. Most of the entries are dated from several months back and detail Dalamar's efforts to find funding for some sort of mission that would take him out of the city of Black Winter. It isn't clear whether he managed to raise the gold or not. The journal doesn't seem to provide any information that will help you in your quest. You drop the torn pages and watch them disappear in the forest, borne on the wind. Okay, so there's another name. Keep an eye out for. So there's a key, a very old metal key. It's slightly warped with age. We've got the journal, spirit wands. You got 2 healing. 5. We're running low on stones. Okay, so let's go ahead and save here, and we're gonna pause this, and then we'll come back for another session of Let's Play. All right.